Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again from North Carolina for the 2019/2020 Appalachian Trail Thru Hiker update. So, Katahdin is closed, so if you didn't get your summit in, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully everybody did that wanted to get their NOBO Summit in, but Katahdin closed on October 29th. They were scheduled to close on November 1st anyway, and then reopen later on in the year for winter camping. However, they closed early, as they say they're apt to do on October 29th for ice and snow, and they'll stay closed until conditions change, and that may be in the spring. So we counted up, and the most that I could find, the highest number of bag number or hiker registration number there at Katahdin Stream Campground for summited was 1,190. Now before we had it up to 1,115, but I did some more research and found somebody who had a registration of 1,190. So if anybody knows of a registration that was higher than that, please let me know. But that easily eclipses the folks that summited last year of 728. So the class of 2019, you guys have done good. And y'all have made the rest of us very proud of you. And those that are still out there on the trail that are SOBO or flip-flopping, we're still behind you. We hadn't forgot about you. We want to keep remembering y'all. So like I always say, the whole purpose behind what I do here on this channel is not only to bring about my adventures on the Appalachian Trail, but mainly to help build the hiker community and to help support the Thru Hikers. So still go out there to their schedule, to their websites. Hey, Coda, still go out there to their websites and give them comments and keep them spurred all the way to Springer or wherever they're heading. Folks that we had that summited at Springer, SOBOs, over this past week, we had Super Squirrel, Polar Bear, and along with them was Earnhardt, Research, Name Tag, Froggy, and Cheese. So those folks were just a couple days behind them due to medical reasons, but definitely Super Squirrel and Polar Bear did summit there. So mighty proud of those folks. Appreciate your updates. Those are only folks that I have definite updates for. If you know of somebody else, please send me their name. We don't want to leave anybody out. We want to include everybody that we possibly can, because we know that a lot of people are out there that are still on the trail that are going to be summiting, and so we look forward to being able to report them. Weather for folks that are still out there on the trail, well, the first part of the week is going to be pretty clear. You ought to have some great views. However, it is toward the end of the week, around Wednesday or Thursday, the rain moves in, and it's going to be real chilly, because as the rain moves in, of course, that means the cold front's coming through, and the temperature is going to drop. So the first part of the week, probably going to be in the highs are going to be in the high 40s. At night, it's still going to get below freezing, so you're going to be sleeping with everything that the cold weather gets to. That's your filter and your anything with batteries in it, your phone, your battery packs. But then when the cold front comes through and the rain comes through, it's going to be cold, and it's going to be probably in the high 20s, maybe even the mid 20s at night. It's going to be well below freezing, and of course it drops down even into the 30s during the day. So going to be chilly out there. Folks may be holding up somewhere toward the weekend. Hopefully it'll get better toward the weekend. There have been several places on the trail. I've noticed looking at different people's sites where we have had some snow. Of course, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park at altitude has had snow already, and we saw that in Swan Dive when she came through there, and that's been a couple weeks ago. But then here more recently, I've seen pictures of Max Patch that had snow on it, as well as Roll Mountain Highlands have had snow on it. So high altitude still is getting snow, and I'm sure they're going to get snow this coming weekend when the weather moves through. So the 2019 class of hikers on that are still out there that we've got updates for, Valkyrie, she should be out of the Smokies by now and heading toward the Knox somewhere. And then Hawk, he is south of Waynesboro. I saw where Fresh Ground posted something within today, really within the last couple hours, where he had fed Hawk, and actually Hawk couldn't finish everything he was feeding him. Can you imagine that? Quicksand, he's somewhere around Fort Royal, Virginia. Peaches and Woodstock, they have cleared, they have come through Harper's Ferry, checked in there, and they are south of Harper's Ferry, heading in, probably in Northern Virginia, heading toward the Shanties. So there's still a lot of folks out there. I know that Fresh Ground said that he was going to be north of Waynesboro feeding hikers over the next couple days. So he's trying to get the last of the folks coming in there. He did indicate that not a lot of folks out there, and Fresh Ground knows because everybody goes to him and wants Fresh Ground's trail magic. So Fresh Ground, if you're watching this, we certainly appreciate everything you're doing out there. If I missed your update, I apologize for that. Please let me know. We want to make sure that we've included everybody. Or if you know of somebody else that's out there that I haven't updated, please let me know. I want to go and favor them, or that's an old term, favor. You don't favor anymore, you like people. So I want to go and like them or get connected with them so we could follow them through the rest of their hiking or report on them. As I mentioned before on the news from the trail, Katahdin did close on the 29th. Still got hunting season, and probably for the foreseeable, and definitely for the foreseeable future during the hiker season, we're going to be having hunting season. So folks, please wear something bright or have something bright on top of your pack if at all possible. And then I also read in the most recent edition of the ATC Journeys magazine where land management folks here in North Carolina are working on trying to ratify regulations that require hard-sided bear canisters everywhere in North Carolina, with the exception of the Smokies, and that's because in the Smokies there are bear cables there. And there are some other places where there's bear cables, but they're definitely at every camp or every shelter site except for one, and that's Davenport Gap there, because there's not big enough trees to have it. Although I believe it's not Peck's Corner, it's the two after Peck's Corner. Can't remember that, but anyway, they have actually brought in telephone poles and made bear cables there because they didn't have the trees to do it. So bottom line is, we're going to have to eventually be going to bear canisters all over North Carolina, and I suspect it's going to be like that all up and down the trail sooner rather than later. I know up in Vermont, I believe there's some places up there where they're required to have canisters, and even down in Georgia from Jared Gap to Neal Gap is required to have a canister. So folks, keep that in mind. It's going to cost us a little weight penalty there, but that is coming eventually. So the 2020, as I reported last week, 2020 class is up and running. They got tons of videos out there, too many for me to go over right now, so I want to concentrate on all the folks that we've got listed right now. We are tracking somewhere over 52 hikers, and we've added a slew of them from last week. So right now, the registration with the ATC, last week the NOBO was 753, and this week there's 835 folks registered, with March 1 having 45 hikers out there. So 50 is the number of hikers that the ATC sets the trail at. That's the maximum that it can hold on any given day. Of course, that's really debatable. None of the shelter sites are made to hold that many people. So it looks like right now the big bubble right now is going to be March 1st, and that's pretty much typical. SOBO, we had 17 last week. This week we have 20. And flip-floppers, last week we had 24, and this week we have 29. So last week we had a total of 794 folks that were registered, and this week we've got a total of 864. So we are climbing, and we don't really have any data from last year where we were tracking that, because we didn't actually start updating folks and creating this trail or Thru Hiker update until January of last year. So on to the new hiker updates that we have here. If you'll go down to the description section, you'll see a link, and that link will take you to a Google spreadsheet where you can find all the hikers that we're tracking, their names, if we have their trail names, their direction of travel, what social media accounts they have, if they're a veteran or not, and if they are hiking for a charity, and if they're an international hiker, somebody coming from outside the continental U.S. So the folks that are in red are the ones that we have just brought on board from our last update. The folks in black are we've already updated them before. If you're a thru hiker, and please go to that spreadsheet, make sure I've got you on there, and make sure that I have your information correct. So go ahead and list those folks, give them a shout out. I may mess your name up. If you do, I apologize for that, and you're welcome to correct me. So we'll get started here with the latest that we've added. Leanne McDonald, Bridget Carlson, and her trail name is Nutty Hiker. Tony Mascarello, Joe Smithwick, Christy Sienna, Aaron Carreras, and everybody here that I'm giving a shout out to, they are NOBO, with the exception of, and I'll tell you when. And so Eric Carreras, or Karras, is a flip-flopper. John Fitch, Elijah Rosenbaum, and trail name is Stinkbug. Gina Russell, Andrea Drott, Cherie Schwitt, Jolene and Thomas Griffin is a couple, a married couple that is hiking. Paul McDonald, Don Van Hook, KT Sutherland, trail name of Owlcat. George Dutton, trail name of Farmer. Scott Tatum, Mike Mosia, Brendan John, trail name Bald Eagle. Lane Hagerman, and I'm going to butcher this trail name, but I swear I copy and pasted it. A. So, Lane, please correct me on that. William Dale Blankenship, and William Dale is NOBO, and he is flip-flopping. Angie Sackett, Albert McLeod is known as Hiker Owl. So those are the folks that we have added since the last one. If you're not on that list and you want to be, and we want everybody to be on that list that we can possibly get on there, so that we can go and folks can go and get that list, and they can go and find you and then comment and keep you spurred on all the way to Katahdin or all the way to Springer or whatever direction you're going. So also in the description section, there's a template there. If you'll copy and paste that template of the information that I need, I'll be glad to put you in that spreadsheet. In that spreadsheet, I update that every day. So if you're seeing this on a Tuesday or Wednesday rather than Sunday or Monday, then hopefully it should be current as of that day. So don't forget our hyper hikers helping section, also in the description section there, where I list the hikers that are out, that are actually hikers themselves, and they're helping other folks. And one of the ones that last week I mentioned Frozen, and Frozen, of course, I'll leave a link up here to his channel and to his video where he is mentoring, picking 3 hikers. And Candy Mama from the Dower Duo, they're going to be doing something similar, but what they're going to be doing is they are going to be, they want everybody to send them their video, an introduction video. They want to help build the hiker community around the Thru Hikers and help build the community within the Thru Hikers by them coming through and giving their intro video on their channel. So Candy Mama, I greatly appreciate that. That's awesome that you're doing that. That takes a lot of work, and I can appreciate that, believe you me. And I'll leave up here, I'll also leave a link there to their channel for doing that. And then also I added to the hikers helping hikers section down there, Fresh Ground. I don't know why I didn't have him on there already, but I got his Facebook, link to his Facebook page, and that's important because Fresh Ground does all of this out of his back pocket or with donations, and he rarely solicits donations, and he's not really allowed to do that as he's out there on the trail because of Park Service regulations. So you can go to Fresh Ground and you can leave you can send him a donation for not only this year, because he's still out there feeding folks, or for next year as he gets geared up to start out in Georgia and work his way north, helping folks, and then coming back south and doing it all over again. So that takes money. Fresh Ground, we appreciate that. That is just great of you to do that, and that is such a service that folks greatly appreciate that. And that was one thing, if I didn't mention it before, that one of the folks that summoned there, Polar Bear and Super Squirrel, she wanted me to mention too, if there's any trail angels down in the southern section of the trail, that being Georgia or particularly North Carolina. If you're a trail angel and you're close to the trail out there, there's, you know, the SOBOs that are coming through, they really appreciate just a simple hot cup of coffee or hot chocolate or something like that. That would be great. That just really, Super Squirrel had that happen to them a time or two, and they said that really boosts their morale as they're coming in and trying to finish strong. So if you're out there and you're a trail angel, please consider that. Also, don't forget that we also list trail angels on this side here. So if you're planning on doing a hiker feed or some trail angel work somewhere, and you want folks to know about that, then Mund up in Virginia and up in actually up in Pennsylvania, I believe it is. He was really good about letting us know that when he was doing a feed, and so we'll put that out not only here every week, but on the community section of the channel, and let people know so that folks out there, Thru Hikers that are dialed in our channel, they can know that. So if you want that listed, please let me know, and I'll make sure that I get that out to folks. Also, I got still got some videos from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park coming up. Probably have just one more of that. And I also plan on hitting the trail myself north of Hot Springs. I want to go out and do some gear testing, some winter gear testing, the weekend of Thanksgiving. So I'll be doing Thanksgiving during the week with my family, and then I will be getting out on the trail for that weekend, and might just be an overnighter, but you're welcome to join me. Let me know if you want to do that. Be glad to have you along with me. Folks, that's all I got this week. Appreciate you hanging in there to the end. Love to have your comments down below. Love for you to go and subscribe and hit that bell so you get the notifications of my weekly updates. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.